Hey everyone, it's me, it's Michael Mills. We're back and I've got some really great stuff to share with you today. Before we get started, I just want to thank all of you who offered feedback. I've gotten some great comments and it's really valuable both for you and for me to share those thoughts. It's valuable for me because I get to know what you're thinking and I get to know what your key pain points are, which really helps me actually develop this course to make sure anyone who eventually registers gets everything you need. It's valuable for you because you get a chance to write about your challenges and fears. Often when you get something out of your head and onto paper, for lack of a better word, it might be on your computer, but you can begin to get a handle on it. You can see that it's not so difficult. So, and again, we respond personally to every comment that's submitted. So if you've got a question, we've got an answer, and you're going to get it. In the past videos, I've been sharing our story with you, and many of you have commented on how you were on a similar path, and that path seems to be going on forever. There might be a light at the end of the tunnel, but that light seems to be getting dimmer and dimmer. I want to change that light from being a light of hope to being a light of strategy. And what I mean by that is I want to lay out a plan for you so you can make progress towards that light, that it keeps getting nearer and brighter instead of dimmer and further away. One of the great reasons to do this is to make a change in your habits, which will cause a change in your business, which will cause a change in your life. It's a chain reaction. And I'm talking about a simple change, an hour a week. You have an hour a week available. And if you focus on the steps I'm about to share with you, that simple change, that commitment of 1 hour a week can have great impact on your business and your life. Change the way you are and it will ripple down throughout your company. How you are, how too your company will be. So, stop the chaos. My goal is to get you from frustration and overwhelm to a place of control and consistency, to a place where you can take a 6-8 week vacation. Well, okay, maybe just 3 weeks, whatever. Without things falling apart, without having to come back to tons of activities left undone and having to play catch up. I hate that. My goal is to get you to a place where you're no longer thinking, I can't take a vacation, it's just too much work. Because now you have the confidence that while you're gone, the house will be kept in order by employees who care about things being done right and who know how to do things the way you want them done. My goal is to help you find that freedom, the freedom that you dreamed of. So that is why we do this. I know the cost of working like that. You already know that I've been there, done that, and I made a simple change that I know you can do as well. Now, there are probably dozens of reasons why you might be telling yourself you can't do this. You know, I don't have the time, I don't want to have to learn another tool or software application, my people will never follow the processes anyway, it's too difficult, I just have to tough out what I've already been doing and it will finally work out. You might even be thinking, whoa, man, if it's that easy, I should be able to do it myself. Well, don't listen to that devil on your shoulder, and don't think that you're weak if you can't just tough it up and do it yourself. I'm here to tell you that it can be done. We've done it with hundreds of entrepreneurs just like you, and it's not that you're weak, it's simply that you don't have the plan. Even though the plan is simple, it's still ingenious, and it's, if I say so myself, and it's born from 20 plus years of working with business owners making it happen. I thought of something the other day, something that I think can land the concept of how important it is to create and implement processes, to create that consistency in your business. So for all of you golfers out there, this is what I thought of. But this can apply to tennis players, skiers, hockey players, you name it. But for all of you golfers out there, you've got to swing, right? I mean, you swing your golf club and it hits the ball. And it's the same swing over and over and over again. If you made a video recording of yourself swinging a golf club, like I did, you would see the same swing over and over and over and over and over again and again and again and again and again, and it might not look too pretty. Well, your golf swing is a system. It's a process. Each time you swing, it produces a result. And over the course of 18 holes, the result is going to be fairly consistent. You will consistently shoot around the same score every time you play. The processes of your business are just like that. If you do something consistently over and over again, you're going to get a consistent result, what we might call a baseline. Well, we do call it a baseline. And if you follow the same process, a consistent process, say for qualifying and converting leads, you'll find that there's a number or a metric telling you how well that process works. You might find that you're able to close, say, 30% of the leads you generate. That process is used to train someone. And if they're following the process, they should be able to achieve that metric. If they're following the process and unable to achieve the metric, well, you might quickly discover that that person is not a good fit for the position. What would it be like if you could count on things happening? What would it be like if your lead generation process worked like clockwork, and the process for converting those leads into long-term satisfied clients worked like clockwork? And you could watch the process, and it would always be the same until you change it. You innovated something in the process to make it produce even better results. If we go back to my golfing example, if you take a lesson and if you practice and apply what you learned in that lesson, you'll shave some strokes off your game. You'll get a better result. Now, if you've ever tried this, it isn't a quick fix to change your golf swing. It takes time and it takes patience, and you have to pay attention and you have to practice. But it's not rocket science. And if you care enough about it, if you want to be a better golfer, it's easy to make a change like that. It's as simple as that. It's just like shaving some strokes off of your golf game, but doing it in your business. And that means more abundance, more profit, more freedom, and a better work environment for your employees. Imagine what a process could mean for recruiting, hiring, and training a new employee. You know how much of a hassle it is to find and train new employees. But did you ever stop to consider how much it costs and how often employers fail at hiring? According to Brad Smart, who's done a ton of research on this, what he calls a mishire, so think of it as an employee who gets hired but never achieves the expectations you have of them. And as a result, they're going to quit or they get fired, or the worst scenario is you hang on to them hoping they're going to finally figure things out, and they never do. And they cost you a bundle in lost opportunities, mistakes, frustration. In his book, Top Grading, Brad Smart writes that the cost of a mishire is 15 times what you pay them. And if you think about it, you have the expense of recruiting the new employee. You have the expense in both time and money of training the new employee. You have the cost of lost opportunity while they're learning how to do what they need to do. They're just not selling as much as they need to sell, for example. You have the costs of the mistakes they make while they're learning, and you have the costs of your reputation with your customers when they're making these mistakes, and you have the cost of the frustrations and the interruptions that they cause with both their manager, and maybe that's you, as well as their colleagues. And finally, think about this. According to Brad Smart, you're going to make a hiring mistake 75% of the time. That's what the research indicates. Every 3 employees are going to fail, and the 4th one will work. It all boils down to the lack of a hiring process, the lack of a training process, the lack of a management process, and the lack of an evaluation process. They're all processes. If you can create these 4 key systems, if you can easily hire new employees and get them up to speed as quickly as possible, your business is going to thrive. And we have all of these processes documented, ready and waiting for you to edit, customize, and implement. And here's how you do it. In the last video I mentioned I would share with you today the program we've developed to assist you in taking your business from people dependency to process dependency. And it's a very tactical, not theoretical, it's a very tactical, simple step way to create a business where you have great people who follow documented processes and produce consistent, reliable results. We're calling the program the Systemscaping course. It's like laying the landscape to a fully systematized business. In today's video, I want to offer you the opportunity to hear about it, what it will mean to your business and what it could mean to your life. First, in the interest of good storytelling that teaches us, it's always better to show than to tell. So I want to introduce you to someone who's recently been through a similar program.
I am Mike Tulpe. I'm with Clover Electric in Sugar Falls, Ohio. We're an all-electrical company as of right now. My position with the company is basically I've been an electrician for the past 16 years and am now the transitioning owner.
Why did you choose to do this work?
The biggest thing is the processes. We wanted to actually start detailing and breaking down what our day-to-day processes are to be able to build the organizational chart and actually hold all of the processes inside one nice, easy-to-use tool, so that way each employee can see what their day-to-day processes are supposed to be, what their required responsibilities are, and everything like that.
Why not just do it in Word docs or Google Docs?
It's nice to have those documents filed and used and saved on the what we call the P drive in our software, our servers, but no one likes having to search for it. And you're never remembering as to what you saved it as or anything like that.
And so you don't really have to search for those processes anymore?
Correct.
What was one of the first positions we were working on for your firm, for your organization?
I think we actually officially started and detailed the apprentice and the lead installer position.
And have you hired an apprentice or a lead installer?
We were able to bring them in and train them quite significantly, and it made the training process go a lot smoother.
So you went through a training process where we met once a week over a 10-week period to identify your processes, make sure that your org chart was set up properly, started linking the processes to specific positions on the org chart. Can you talk a little bit about how that went, what you did? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Was it time consuming? Well, a lot of people panic. They think, I don't have time for this, or it's too difficult. I don't know how to do this. I don't have time for that. Can you speak a little bit to that?
So yeah, I was definitely one of those people. Absolutely had that little bit of panic, but knew that it was the right thing to do. So it was really simple. It was just setting aside 1 hour a week to be able to meet with you for sure and go over that stuff. And then setting aside another hour and forcing myself to actually break away and get into it. And it was really nice and simple to be able to do. And a lot of those 1 hour time frames when I was working independently by myself, I would end up finding myself finding more time. It averaged out that I probably spent an hour and a half a week independently of our 1 hour meetings to be able to put this stuff together. And it just really helped catapult the growth. It really just kind of helped you focus and make it a whole lot less overwhelming. So it made it a very simple process as we continued to go along.
That actually leads me into my next question. We've met 10 times. Our goal is to set you up so we can walk away and you'll be successful. Do you feel you're in that position now?
Yes. So yeah, I feel very comfortable actually writing and working with the people who are actually performing those processes and making sure that we detail them out the way that we're performing them, but also being able to look through the TouchStone library that you guys have in there and seeing as to, well, maybe there's a better way, so it's kind of nice to be able to have all of those components to work with and just, breaking it down and, as you said, focus on one process at a time, focus on one position at a time, and just keep moving forward until the end.
The strategic planning process and the tools that you're working with, can you speak a little bit to that? Because strategic planning is so important.
I've read a number of books this year on Jim Collins and Gino Wickman aggressively, as well as Michael Gerber. So each one of them have, the overall importance of strategic planning. And so what I actually love about the strategic planning process, diving in and having that one set up and detailed extremely well, and utilizing the concepts of all those different processes. Like they're detailed and narrowed down into the processes already built within TouchStone. And so we're able to take that, put it into ours. We're able to edit every detail of it to make it to match our specific meetings, to match our specific budget planning workshops, as well as the quarterly and annual meetings that we're going to be performing, so that way we can keep following and stealing Jim Collins's BHAG entirely, setting up those big, hairy, audacious goals, so that way we know that we can continue moving forward and just keep getting better.
That's great. Strategic planning is such a valuable and important business activity. A lot of entrepreneurs don't do it because they don't know how to do it, and they say, oh, so I'll get to it later, and they don't do it, and it's just such a valuable thing to do.
I don't look at it anymore as it's time consuming, because it's important and it's necessary, and it will make you and your coworkers, your team, work that much better. So I don't view it as time consuming anymore. As a small company, like, there's no small business out there. There's no business out there that can afford to not spend the time on this. And that's just my opinion after this year's learning.
2 more questions, please, Mike.
Sure.
Some people choose not to systemize their business because they think it's too much work. So we talked a little bit about that, the overwhelm, but what would you say to an entrepreneur that says, I can't do this, it's just too much work?
I would say that it's absolutely doable. It's not too much work to be able to do it. You'll find that you're going to spend a lot less time chasing things and well, I thought we were doing it this way. I thought it was this way. But the amount of time that it's going to save you in the long run is going to be, it's just, you can't afford to not have it. Like, the beauty of TouchStone is it's a couple clicks away to be able to change the process. So when you realize that there's something else that you can be doing to make it better, it's a click, a drag, and a drop, or it's delete this line, or it's a click in and you edit this piece out, and it automatically saves and keeps going. You can always archive it and save the old, so that way you can go right back to it. It's not like you're just completely overwriting everything from the get-go. But yeah, I mean, it's super simple to maintain at that point in time. And as we touched on it during the kind of like end of year one-on-one meetings with the individual employees, it's just a nice spot to be able to go right down there, the list of processes, and see as to what is being used, what isn't being used, what could be changed, what, you know, is benefiting, and things like that. So it kind of, once it's established, it helps it so that way everybody in the company is really a part of making sure that it's being utilized as best as it possibly can.
Last question. What advice would you give others as they consider whether or not to move forward?
It's a great question. I would just say get moving forward with it. If you've got a process book, then I would say get that into a TouchStone account immediately, because this is so much easier than having to reprint off a different process book for different people every time that some little thing changes for it. If you don't have something that is doing what TouchStone is doing, and keeping all of those processes and keeping that organizational chart and giving you the flexibility of creating and adding to it, get on board as quickly as you can.
Yeah, you mentioned if you had a process book. Did you guys have a process book, or did you have them in Google Docs or Dropbox?
We had them everywhere. You know, some of them are outdated, and so it's quite a bit to just hold on to it. Just to not have that extra big binder and book sitting at your desk is so much nicer to have.
Okay, well, thanks, Mike. I really appreciate you taking the time to share your story with me. And any last words before we say goodbye?
No, it's been great. I appreciate all the help that you've given me throughout the entire process for it. Entirely worth it, and definitely worth the investment. It catapulted our use of TouchStone and our ability to grow with it quite a bit.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Michael. My pleasure.
Mike Tulpe was able to take what we delivered and make it work like magic. And as he said, it wasn't difficult or overwhelming. In fact, he got inspired by it. And we see that happen all the time. In the Systemscaping course, here's what we're going to give you. Sample processes like the ones you've already had access to. You'll have access to recruiting and hiring processes, training processes, management processes, employee evaluation processes, collection processes, and many, many more. Many of the processes have sample templates you can use, work plans, spreadsheets, scripts, videos, audios for training, all sorts of tools to make organizing and implementing your processes easier. This is going to be a 10-week program, and for the duration of that program, you'll have access to your very own TouchStone account into which you'll download and edit all of your processes and put them to work immediately. This is the very same application that you heard Michael Tulpe speak of. It's called the TouchStone Business System. We'll be meeting weekly live for an hour. That's right, these are live online calls done over the internet. And we'll be able to access each other's accounts to address, set up, and implement questions. And we'll walk you through this 5-step plan to creating a process-dependent business. The plan I introduced to you in my last video. Think of it as a very focused mastermind meeting. And each week we'll be answering questions and sharing completed assignments. Each session will run about an hour, may go a little longer. There's a program syllabus below that walks you through the 10 weeks of the course. The most interesting question is to ask yourself what your business might look like 10 weeks from now, how differently you'll be working, because you'll have an experience of what all the consultants call working on the business, not just in the business. You'll have some sense of the gifts you'll be able to give to yourself, your family, your employees, and your customers once you have all of your processes organized and assigned in one simple place. My hope is that you'll be able to measure your success by the number of hours you'll be able to spend away from your business, or by the number of hours you get to do exactly what you love to do, if that means working in your business. That work becomes fun, easy, satisfying, rewarding. I'm here today to tell you, make a decision about your future. You might even have better health as a result of less stress, less frustration, better sleep, more security knowing your business is going to succeed, whether or not you're there. Now, we're taking a limited number of companies into this program, so you got to act now. Use the form below to register. The program is coming with a satisfaction guarantee. You can decide at any time prior to the start of the 5th week of the course to determine whether or not this program has exceeded your expectations. And if you're not blown away with what you're getting, simply send me an email and you'll receive a prompt refund of your full investment. Look at it this way. Given what Brad Smart's research tells you, if this course can save you just one mishire because you have all of the processes in place to hire, train, and manage them, then this course will have paid for itself 100 times over. Think of what you'd like your business to be like 3 months from now, 3 years from now. Do you think things will change if you don't take action? I'm not here to help you stay on your current path. That's going to happen without this program. I'm here to help you make a shift. If you're ready to get started down a new path to having the business you've always dreamed of, I just invite you to register for the Systemscaping course immediately. In just a moment, you can make a decision to enter a community of resources and best business tactics that have been created and perfected from more than 20 years of experience working with entrepreneurs in every type of industry, business owners just like you. This stuff is tested in the real world. Or you're going to decide to wait, continue with the way things are now, unsure of how to make the necessary changes that you know need to happen. Well, we've got the solution. We've developed the steps to help you make the necessary shift that you know you need to make. But you got to act now. Registration for this course, as I said, it's limited. We're only taking a limited number of companies, and this series of videos is being viewed by more than 4,000 businesses around the world. If you know it's your time to finally build the business of your dreams, the one you first dreamt of when you were getting started, I invite you to register right now. With a satisfaction guarantee, you've got nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain. The only issue will be missing out because you didn't take action. This is Michael Mills with the Systemscaping course, wishing you a huge success.